What's up, everyone? Let me invite some people and then we'll get started. Obviously, as the title suggests, I'm talking about Ahsoka episode 3. Not at everyone, crap. I need ads. I guess it would only add the Jedi Knights anyway, because it's the Jedi Knight channel. Um, but Max should be joining me soon. I think maybe Ken will join too. Um, but we're gonna talk about obviously the third episode of Ahsoka. It dropped yesterday, last night. Uh, I've only watched it once, and I watched it last night. Literally barely anything happened. It was a really short episode too. Um, and then I'm gonna talk about just some general thoughts I've been having with the show as well. Um, because from what I've been told, I don't really keep up with what the new canon, the mainstream fandom, what they're thinking. I don't really care. I don't keep up with it, but I've been hearing that it's pretty divisive. Hello, Nazo.
Oh, hey, you're talking about Ahsoka?
We are. Also,
Who
do I
else is here? Huh?
talk
What'd you say?
to you?
What did you say, Lance? I can't even hear you, dude.
You can't hear me?
Oh, I can hear you now. Okay, that was weird.
Okay. Is
Yes,
there
of
an
course he
echo?
said it that way. No. There's no echo. I was just asking who else was
Because
here.
okay, because I had changed some of my mic and speaker settings, and
Michael Mann made another move.
anyway, so what I was saying was the show's pretty divisive from what I've seen. I don't know why people are disliking it because generally I haven't had I mean, I've had a couple of issues with it, but not like a whole lot of issues with the show. I mean, narratively, it's been pretty, it has an identity. I mean, it doesn't have a lot of the problems that a lot of Filoni's other projects have. Um, but we'll just see where it goes. So
Nah, I do hear what you're saying. Like, honestly, like, it's. I thought this episode was better than episode 2, but not by a lot. The show is mostly just kind of okay.
mhm.
It's not like overly terrible, but not like overly great either.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think generally speaking, people are just they're a lot more disgruntled now with Filoni. Maybe not even just Filoni, it's with Ahsoka. People are tired of seeing her. They're tired of her presence in this era. She should not be alive at this point. I think generally most fans can agree with that.
I
Um
don't think every fan agrees with it, but I do see a decent amount that are like, okay, why is this now? Why is that now?
yeah.
There's obviously a lot of theories going around. Well, a lot of people seem to be like
Hello.
trying. Oh, hey, Maxine.
Hi.
There's that.
A lot of people seem to be trying to like think that Marek is like Star
Star
Killer or
Killer.
something.
Hmm.
I actually have my own fan theory on who it is, but I won't be stupid enough to say what it is on the internet.
Here's my fan theory. He's just a new character.
I hope you're right on that, because I that's what I'm hoping too.
That's
Either he's a
actually my
brand new
hope.
character or he's Ezra. One of the two.
No.
It's not my fan theory, but it is. It's not my fan theory, but that is my hope that he's just some nobody,
Uh,
like literally just some Inquisitor that's
Yeah,
working
he's an
with these
inquisitor who
two Dark
survived,
Jedi.
you know?
yeah,
I don't
I
know.
think he's just like a new character.
whether you want to call them dark Jedi, dark Force wielders, dark acolytes, that doesn't matter. They're obviously dark side users, but they're not Sith.
Hmm. Ugh. People. No thanks.
So, and yeah, I think people are just sick of us. Maybe not even just Ahsoka. A lot of it, like you pointed out in the group chat, Max.
Hmm.
Um, no one likes Rosario's Ahsoka. Like no one cares about it.
Yeah, I
Well,
mean,
I know some people that like it, but
yeah,
yeah, I
some
do
do,
see what
but
you
like
mean.
to me, she just feels like very, very wooden. There's like nothing there. Like there's like no emotion. Like yeah, I guess she's been through a bunch of shit, but like she's like so is Sabine and so is Hera and so is Obi-Wan, and they all still have their personalities intact.
I
And it's just weird.
I keep trying to float the theory that like, I'm really hoping to God that they don't go this route, but like Sabine suddenly gains Force powers.
I hope she
Like,
doesn't either.
yeah,
I
no,
mean,
like I'm really
Oh
hoping that
gosh.
it goes the route of like Scout from Yoda Dark Rendezvous,
yeah,
where like she's Force sensitive, but she's not like really strong in the Force, but she relies a lot on her skills.
yeah, that would be cool.
That's
That's
that
what
was
I
the
I.
mean, I
endearing
don't
thing about
really,
Scout.
I don't want her to be force sensitive. I just don't.
Yeah,
But I mean, and
I'm
by
gonna build
last
some
episode, it
Lego.
kind of was pretty clear she's not in any capacity.
Do you know what
But
would be really cool? If we had a Scout
what's that?
TV show instead of Ahsoka.
I am
Like,
on
I
board
would
for
watch
That
that.
would
that.
be cool. I love Scout.
That was
She's actually
awesome.
she was one of the
There you
well,
go.
and from Yoda Dark Rendezvous, she was actually one of my favorite characters because she
She
was
was
very
my favorite
endearing.
character in that book. I love her.
So that's why I loved seeing her show up again in Imperial Commando later as
Did she
like
die in Order 66, or do we
no,
find
she
out?
lived.
Oh,
She lived. She actually ended up going to Kimarut with most of the Mandalorians there, and she ended up kind of seeing. Who else here has read Republic Commando? Just so I know.
Not me.
You haven't read it?
Not
Okay.
me.
No, not yet.
All right. Well, here's some semi spoilers. One of the characters, I don't think he showed up until True Colors, but he was an instant favorite. Was a guy named Midge Gillimar.
Mhm.
He was like imagine like a Mandalorian scientist. Like he's like a really smart guy, but he's got a broken nose, so he looks like he's been in a bar fight.
Yeah.
But basically, when Scout meets him, she kind of like attaches to him, like it's like the parent she never had type thing.
Yeah.
Same with because they find what's her face from the first book, Dr. Euthan, who they got locked up, who was part of the Separatists. They actually end up working with her when they bust her out of prison. And I'm spoiling a ton of the novels. I'm sorry, but basically, like she kind of sees Euthan as like a mom, and so there's like a relationship. Unfortunately, it goes no further because we didn't get the second Imperial Commando book.
but that's a perfect jumping off point for a TV show. And Karen
Oh,
Travis could
absolutely.
write it.
No, I would absolutely love. I'm actually currently going through a book by Karen Travis. It's a breath of fresh air from the Karen Miller book that I just went through. So,
Yeah, that'd be. You could have Mandalorians and all this stuff that all the current Star Wars TV shows have in an expanded universe format, just to throw in
I
some
would.
diversity in
There you go.
another
I'd
TV show.
honest to God love to see how characters like I think it's Darman and another one I can't remember who it was. Darman and Niner get home. I want to figure out how they get home, especially Darman, how he gets home to his son. I want to find out because oh god, what's Scarada managed to pass off like one or two of his Jedi survivors that managed to pop into his little Mandalorian community. He managed to pass them off to you guys know who Jin Altus is?
Who?
Jin Altus.
I don't know.
Nobody's read Children of the Jedi then. Got it.
Oh, I've read it. It's just
I've read
been
it. I don't
forever.
remember the name, but
Okay, well,
I haven't read it.
Callista came from his sect of Jedi, the ones that are allowed to marry and have family. It was from Jyn Altus's people. Which Jyn Altus has like really cool Jedi. They have like a sort of obviously a sort of conflicting ideology with the mainstream Jedi, but at the same time, like they're not really comfortable with using clone soldiers as like foot soldiers, even though the clones are like kind of bred that way, and so it's just kind of like a conflicting of ideologies. But like basically, he manages to pass the Jedi survivors that come his way to Jyn Altus and his Jedi. So I want to see eventually how they end up at the Eye of Palpatine. That would be interesting to see.
The Eye of Palpatine. That's my boy.
Hey, Chris. I mean, you're entitled to your opinion, bro, but like, why do you even watch my streams? You
He
disagree with
watches
everything
your
we
streams
say.
because you're interesting.
Lance is an
Yeah, I
interesting
guess.
fellow.
I figured out
But
recently
yes, we
from
will be
real.
mad about that because that's just a retarded idea. So, sorry, bro.
Green Ram will gain force powers, and Nazo will be mad about it along with. Yes, I would be I would be extremely angry about that because like I prefer her when she's just someone with skills of her own. She doesn't
Yeah.
necessarily need like even if she does gain force powers, it should be like a slow gaining, and she shouldn't be super strong in it. I don't want it to
She's
be some
also like a
bullshit like.
Mandalorian, so like she doesn't need to be a Jedi.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm just saying like I don't want it to be some Osec like what am I thinking of here? Like the end of the first book of Legend of Korra, where she can just suddenly airbend out of nowhere.
That doesn't mean everybody can use it. Yes, the Force isn't everyone. That doesn't mean everyone can wield it.
Everybody uses it
The
in
latest
different
episode literally
capacities.
said that. The latest episode literally talks about it.
There used to be force attuned people, and then force sensitive people, and then people trained.
I'm worried
as
now, though. I'm
Jedi.
worried now if they're going to use this for justification for Rey's power.
A lot of things they've done. They've did like the whole lightsaber thing when they're like Hu Yang was talking to Sabine about Ezra's lightsaber. She's like, "Oh, the droid's like, he's like, hey, I see you still have your lightsaber," and she's like, "It's Ezra's lightsaber." She's like, "Yes, true, he built it, but you've made your own modifications, and he gave it to you, so it is now your lightsaber." So it's like that was kind of the ending of like the debate where it's like, oh, it's Anakin's lightsaber, it's Luke's lightsaber, it's Rey's lightsaber, you know. So
Nah.
they're already kind of doing that kind of thing.
It's
No.
Mara Jade's lightsaber.
Yeah, it's Mara's
There you go.
lightsaber. That's what I
It
was
is,
thinking.
yeah, that is.
I
It's
literally
Mara
said
Jade's
that out
lightsaber.
loud, like when
Mara Jade's first
watching it.
lightsaber.
Yeah, when I was watching it, I literally said, actually, it's Mara's. Like,
Actually, you know what? That's not even Mara Jade's first lightsaber because she had like a purple one during her time under Palpatine. Never mind.
Yeah.
I thought that was her first lightsaber. I'm like, no, wait. The Emperor's Hand trilogy kind of or duology kind of puts a wrench in that idea.
yeah, and she has a purple lightsaber after in the By the Emperor's Hand comics.
Yeah, I do remember that.
Actually, I reread those recently. I love those. They're fantastic
Yeah,
comics.
comic series.
I get around. I go around to it again eventually, but yeah, it is a pretty decent comic.
A lot of fun to read.
Though I'm still bigger on the other one that ties into it, which is Agent of the Empire.
Hmm.
So that one doesn't have Mara. That has J.N. Cross.
I want to reread Crimson Empire.
Yeah, that actually
Series.
doesn't sound too bad of an idea considering Legends Con is coming up soon.
I wish I could go.
I'm hoping to get a few things signed by Mr. Stradley.
Drake and Instagram, he's like, "Did you know that his full name is David Hitler Filoni?"
What the fuck?
And then he said, "Did you guys hear that he's also part of the Aryan Brotherhood?"
Where the heck is this from?
It's a Instagram group chat we have.
Oh my god.
Fucking Drake. Only Drake. Only
Who's
Drake.
Cora? Who are we talking about? Talking about a different show?
We're talking about Ahsoka, I guess.
Who's Cora?
Well, because Nazo brought
That's
up
the Last Airbender.
Oh, okay. Well, I haven't watched that, so I'm like, who's
You
Cora?
could, I guess, you could watch it. It's kind of a decent show, but also kind of like a bad with continuity. It kind of rewrites a lot of lore that was there. Also,
like the new
it
canon?
makes Aang cease to exist. So it's another thumbs down
Scott.
for that show.
Scott, have you had a chance to read Supernatural Encounters? Have you started it?
I haven't read the expanded edition. No, I read the 2018 version before, and I looked over the PDF, but I can't read on my computer screen. It's just too difficult on my eyes, especially 1,000 pages.
I could read the PDF, but like I'd rather just have a physical copy in my hand, like I do with most of my because I'm treating it as a guidebook and not a storybook.
But from what I've looked over the 1,000 pages, I mean, I didn't read the expanded edition, but from what I've seen, it looks like it encompasses the 2018 version plus some extra stuff.
Nice.
Well, generally, I had a lot of worries about the book going into it mainly because of the world between worlds stuff, and y'all know me, I hate that. So, but it's actually like mentioned just like 2 or 3 times, and most of that is just in like editorial notes at the end.
Wait, it has the world
So
between worlds in it?
it's mentioned, but like it's from what I've seen. I could be wrong because I haven't read it, but it doesn't really have any big plot point.
Well, he brings in a lot of different lore from non-Star Wars properties, like stuff from other Lucasfilm properties. So any reference to that isn't necessarily a reference to Rebels, because Rebels is not expanded universe. So he's creating it similar to how, like in canon, if they brought in Mara Jade, it's not the same Mara Jade from the expanded universe. If Joe brings in something from canon, it's not the same character from canon, if that makes sense.
Right. Yeah. I see.
Okay, so you almost have to look at, like, for example, because he adds from what I saw of the timeline, he added elements from like Thrawn and Tarkin and Rebels. You almost have to look at it as like another example of S tier canon.
No, that's not what S
tier
canon.
Yeah, but it's not.
No,
it's not.
No.
Really?
I still can't believe I'm in the book. Crazy.
S tier canon, I mean, from my understanding, I could be wrong, was for stories that they fit, but like not entirely. I could be wrong. Scott will correct me. He knows more than I do.
More or less, what S canon is approved stories that they couldn't find the receipts for. So it was material that was created, but it wasn't necessarily put into the holocron. So it could be overwritten because it wasn't used in the current continuity continuing story saga. So it was just old things that could have been forgotten, but it was kind of BS because they move things in and out over the years. Like the Marvel comics used to not be canon, and then they brought them back in. So stuff moved in and out to where at the end there was essentially nothing that was really S canon. I mean, you could argue certain elements from stories like Jedi Prince, the wedding at the end of the 6th book, could be considered S canon, I suppose, but not much.
I heard from, at least just from what Wilkins says, that the next Jedi Prince book was actually going to have the wedding interrupted, so you can always
That's the plan. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was what the authors intended,
From
but they didn't get a
wh-
renewal for the
what I
books.
understood for S tier canon, it was stuff that happened, but the version you got was misremembered. Like,
See, this is
oh,
why
this
S
detail
canon's a freaking
happened, but this
mess.
one is
Oop,
which
shit.
canon's a mess?
It's like the hierarchy. The hierarchy itself is freaking brilliant, but the S tier canon is just terrible. It makes really no sense. Like
Yeah,
because
Eh,
I hear different explanations of it. Like Matt always says this for video games, but I was trying to look into that and it's like I can't find any sort of evidence to say that video games were S
it
canon, they were
wasn't just
C
for
canon.
video games; it was for video game choices. If we're talking, like
Ah,
Sure.
for example, I would actually put, like, for example, you know the game Jedi Outcast, obviously.
Right. Yeah, I played it.
I would put the cutscenes into like continuity canon, but the gameplay itself would be in S tier canon because in the cutscenes, uh, Kyle literally says when mentioning a reborn, he says, Sith spit. I think I ran into one of them on Bespin." Even though in the game you run into a lot of them.
so
I think that would just be a continuity error at that point. I mean, the game is C
Yeah.
canon, but the way it's meant to be played is not really known. I guess you could follow the game guide to figure out the proper way, but there's certain games where you could choose multiple paths. So those extra paths, like Kyle Katarn becoming Emperor, obviously that's S canon, or I guess you could argue N canon, right? Because it's
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be N canon because that just didn't happen.
yeah.
Yeah, well, again, when I see S tier canon, I see it as like, um, oh, this event happened. It's just misremembered. Like,
so um
like there's one detail that's like, oh yeah, that definitely happened, and there's another one that's like, I'm not really sure that happened. I don't think that did.
so like Force Unleashed 2, like if you choose the dark side ending, like and he goes and kills like Han Solo and all of them, like would that be considered S canon?
That's N canon.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
I'd
mean,
consider that.
that's just non-canon. That didn't happen.
Well, I know. I mean, he just goes and like kills everybody. So I was like, holy shit.
Well,
Well,
I guess that's
S canon.
continuity to the game, but only in that sense. So
Yeah.
I'll give you an
I mean, S
example of
canon
like the.
is canon.
I'll give you an example. Like, according to both the book and comic, when it came to the Force Unleashed, Starkiller never pulled the Star Destroyer out of orbit.
Yeah.
That was just a gameplay mechanic. That's something you can easily throw into S tier canon. Like, because if that's canon, then Starkiller really has an incredibly inflated ego of himself.
I think that does occur in the book, though. That does occur in the
Well,
Loaded.
he doesn't pull it down. The Star Destroyer was already on its way down, and he just kind of like
Okay,
helped it and then tried to
Guided it
stop it.
down.
got it.
He guided it down and tried to stop it, but he failed miserably because the Star Destroyer ended up crashing into the facility. It's shown in the game too, in the cutscene.
Yeah.
He tries to stop it and he fails, so he runs.
That's an infuriating level, though. Well, just that part of it. It's like, because you got the TIE fighters shooting at you at the same time, and you're like, please leave me alone.
I actually don't have a hard time with that.
Ugh.
But that's because I play on on console. But like the way I do it is like you kind of have to wiggle the stick up and down until the Star Destroyer is in the right position,
Yeah.
and then you just pull them down. And then when the TIE fighters come, you have to let them hit you until you're like close to the red, and then once you're in the red, you back out and then spend your time shocking TIE fighters or throwing lightsabers or whatever from a distance to knock them down. And then just immediately push your triggers again, and it'll automatically maneuver you to the middle again. See, this is why the gameplay is what I would consider S tier canon, because like no logical way that could happen.
Bro is for real trying to bait us now. Like he don't even care. He's trolling.
That's right. That's right.
Anyway,
Anyway,
Uh-oh, Ken, come back.
and
So what tier canon
Anyway,
is
Scott,
Ahsoka
you're
in?
you're saving your eyes from this Disney canon phony nonsense. So.
Yeah, I just don't watch it anymore. I mean, not even at a friend's house. I just say no. I can't even partake in this Star Wars atrocity.
Oh, there we go.
I dabble in it because
hey, Ken.
Hello.
like I watch it and dabble in it because it's like, you know, I have friends that are fans of it, and again, they have some of them have like a much more son of a bitch, excuse me. Some of them have like a much more like casual approach to it. I'm bigger into continuity myself, but like a lot of them have like a more casual approach to it. I'm like, oh yeah, that was interesting. That was a fun idea. Okay.
Hmm.
And I like to discuss with them because I still consider them fans, even though I'm not like the biggest fan of their version of Star Wars.
Their version of Star Wars is very skewed.
I just like not even if you just put aside the fact it's Star Wars for a second. I can't even enjoy it as a show. It's just
I get it.
doesn't suit
Like,
me.
there's stuff I can go back to, like the Mandalorian. I could probably go back to and watch and like say, yeah, it's all right. But like some stuff like Book of Boba Fett and like Kenobi, I'm like, I don't really want to watch this ever again. So I kind of feel that, and same with the sequels and Resistance, because I'm like, I don't even feel like even elements of good creativity here.
Mhm.
Let's see.
Yeah, I'm just gonna ban this Christopher. He's
That's probably a
hi,
good move.
Chris.
Huh.
Love you,
Damn.
bro.
Yeah, bro would just
gonna
come
ban
onto the
myself.
streams and just like hate on you. It was weird.
He's been doing that for a while.
Where
He'll
do you
come
even
like
come
at first he
from?
was cool, and then I don't know. At first he was cool, and then I kept speaking my mind, and then he started doing that. So
What bozo?
hey,
Why was Chris being uncool?
he's just trying to get a rise out of us.
Oh,
That's
okay.
what he was saying.
So don't rise to the bait.
He literally said Ahsoka's better than Starkiller for no reason.
No, that was hella bait. That was
That's-
like that had bait written all over
That's just dumb.
it. That was some really easy bait.
And some people really hate Starkiller, but I wouldn't.
If
go that
anybody
far.
better than Star
I
Killer,
saw
it's
people
Crucible
trying
Han.
to use
Reasonable
Starkiller.
on.
I saw someone trying to use Starkiller, by the way, as an example as to why Sabine would survive the stab wound.
Oh yeah, because Starkiller got fucking stabbed and then.
I'm
run
like,
around.
you realize he got taken to like right after the stab wound and getting thrown out into space. He got grabbed by a droid with a force field and then got taken to a facility and was there for like months with like probably either cloned organs or cybernetics being added to him.
Right.
I mean, I did think that was a little suspect way back when I first played that game. That was a little unbelievable. I think that was even before Darth Maul survived, though. So
I kept trying to figure out because he had like metal bands on his arm, and I'm not talking about the cuffs. Starkiller had metal bands on his arm, and I'm like, does he have like a mechanical hand now? That's what I thought. Like he had like a mechanical hand with like fake skin on it. I'm like, is that a mechanical hand?
it's possible.
I remember when Han Solo died, a friend of mine was like, "Oh, he's gonna come back with like a cybernetic chest."
No, if they're old and made by George Lucas, they don't get to come back,
Oh, that's right. That's right.
and they get sidelined. So
Yeah, and then the character assassinated. So, the hell.
I will say this: Kazuda Xiono's father is worse than Borsphalia.
I was literally thinking that, like, when I was watching, I was like, "Damn, this motherfucker's like Borsphalia."
No, Borsphalia at least like fought in the war. This guy was a fucking
Yeah,
coward.
no, this guy was just a pansy. Bitch. I hated that guy.
He was a jackass.
Fuck him. Someone just make a cat noise.
Yes, I'm outside with my cat right now.
I don't know. A motorcycle just went by me. So.
Shit.
I'm building Legos. Got a Lego set.
Still, Max?
No, I took a break for a while to go take a nap.
Bro.
Yes, you can't talk. You spent 2 days on a Batman set. So
I'm saying, like, come on.
Yeah, but like it was super late for me.
Yeah,
get out of that truck bed.
Weenie.
It's
My
just-
cat's in my
probably 'cause
neighbor's
your
truck bed.
girlfriend
I
wanted
usually
to-
don't do that. Like I can spend all day on a
Hey,
Lego set if I
hey,
need to. Done
Hey,
it before.
get out of there.
It was just because your girlfriend wanted to FaceTime, right?
It had nothing to do with that actually.
No, I'm just busting your chops.
was that actually Lance's message? I don't think you guys will understand. It's a girl, and I don't want to waste my time.
No,
No,
that was not
no.
me. That wasn't me.
funny,
That was
though.
someone else. I don't know who
I
that
thought it
was.
was for a minute, but it wasn't.
I'm just curious who made that because that sounds hilarious.
No, I'm not that egotistical.
Not even as a joke.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm saying, yeah, as a joke, not even as a joke. You're not that egotistical.
Oh, Lance is gone.
He abandoned us on stream. It's his stream too.
I kicked out of my own stream.
Damn. Lance,
You know
are
what?
you gonna get the new Ahsoka sets?
Maybe the E-Wing.
Let's go. I'm going to the
I
Lego
get that
store on
one.
Friday to buy it.
But I ain't getting any of the others. I don't care.
I get the E-Wing.
Yeah, I'm gonna get it on Friday.
You know what I just found at the store was the Boba Fett. Was it Death Lies Treachery or one of those?
Ooh, yeah. I
Ooh,
saw
that comic
one.
is fantastic.
Yeah, but they made an action figure. I guess it's just a repainting of Boba Fett. It was like $20, but
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
I was like, I saw it in the store. I was like, damn, that shit's dope. And then I looked at the tag and I was like, never mind.
What does it? Is it supposed to look like the paint colors of the comics? Like
yeah, it's the Cam Kennedy version.
Yeah, Cam Kennedy. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like I like the I in a sense I kind of like his color design because it's like genuine lighting.
Yeah,
of, like,
the thing I don't like it is it's obviously the same Boba Fett figure, just repainted.
Oh
And
yeah,
Yeah.
no, Hasbro's cheap as fuck.
it's okay, but it's
How
not
much
like-
was it? Just out of curiosity.
It was like $21, but you know,
Oh,
I
that's
just
not
bought
so
it only
bad.
because it's an expanded universe. So
But it was a
That's not-
vintage
that's
collection
not so
figure.
bad.
They're small, and I was like, I'm paying. Like, I used to pay $20 for a Black Series 6-inch figure, and now the vintage collection figures are $20, and they're 3 3/4 inch. And I was like, no way. So
Wait, are you saying the Black Series got smaller?
no,
No,
this
no.
is the old size, the 3
Yeah.
3/4.
And I couldn't see spending $20, even though I buy Legos and stuff. But that's
There's
different.
only one Black Series I might spend that money on, but they would never make him into a Black Series.
There's a lot of really good EU ones.
Do they have Black Series Kyle Katarn?
No, but I feel like he's gonna happen inevitably because we have there's like a gaming greats line, and I'm like, he's literally like one of the original gaming greats. So like, I feel
That would
like
be great.
Kyle
I
Katarn is
would
inevitable.
spend money on that. I would spend money on that.
The Darth Malgus that recently came out is absolutely spectacular. He's easily the best figure of the year. He's so.
Oh,
so good.
I should tell my buddy Nathan Stein about it because he loves the Deceived novel.
Oh, then yeah, the Malgus figure is beautiful. Not to mention he's giant. He's fucking huge. Big boy.
There's supposed to be a gentle giant like bust. I forget what they make. Is it vinyl or something? But
Yeah,
there's supposed to be a Malgus, one of those later on.
yeah. They did the Bastila one. They're doing Revan. They're doing Nihilus. So I remember
they're
I heard
doing
something about
Nihilus?
Malgus. What?
They're doing Nihilus?
Yep, I put it in the True Blue EU news in our Discord if you want to look at it.
Oh, I can't. Not yet.
Oh.
Otherwise, I'd have
Why?
to back out. I'd have to back out of the stream because
Oh.
Lance is my back door into the stream.
But yeah, it's on there. He looks pretty dope.
I'll take a look at it when the stream's over just to see how it looks. But that sounds cool.
Yeah, he looks awesome. I've been wanting to get the Bastila one, but she's like $80, and I'm like, I need to save money.
Is it just for gaming lines, or do they have stuff that's like comic book related? Because I would love to see ones that are comic book related.
There's a Kyrkanos they made. There's Jackson.
Oh,
Let me see.
I love
I'm looking at
Jackson.
my shelf right now. They have a Shadow Guard from like Force Unleashed. Let me see. I'm looking. Oh, there's Mara Jade. Jaina
Nice.
Solo, which she's my favorite one. There's the
Can't
animated
possibly
Boba
imagine
Fett.
why.
Yeah. There's an animated Boba Fett like in the holiday special colors.
Oh yeah, the blue Boba Fett with the yellow.
Yep. And then there's the Infinity's Darth Vader. So like the all white, and he's beautiful.
Oh, White Vader, yes.
Yeah.
Shiny
also-
white Vader with blue eyes.
Yeah. Yeah, he's kind of got like silvery blue eyes. And then there's a 2003 General Grievous, like that's like blue and white.
Oh, based. That sounds great.
Yeah, there's also like when Obi-Wan is dressed in the clone armor in the first.
Oh
volume
yeah,
of the
yeah. I know which one you're
miniseries.
I know which one you're talking about. Like the style that's almost like it's almost like old Roman style. Like he's
It's got like
the
the
way he's-
Lancer Battalion, like with the
yeah, the way he's got it wrapped.
Yeah, there's one of those. Let me see. There's Zalbar, Malik, Revan, Jedi Revan, Bastila, Nihilus.
Based.
There's
But,
also Darth Maul, like with his shirt off from those Darth Maul comics.
Oh, shirtless Maul, nice.
Yeah, there's a 501st Stormtrooper from Force Unleashed, which is a really good figure.
Nice.
There's a Shadow Trooper from Force Unleashed.
But no Villy.
No, there's the Wookiee from Old Republic.
Yeah, Zalbar.
Yeah.
Zalbar.
But you won't see my favorite Deveronian or my favorite Mandalorian. So
I would kill for Jason Solo, but they'll never do it.
I mean, they're making a lot more than they used
if they
to.
did do Jason
absolutely.
Solo, he'd be Darth Kaitis at that point.
Yeah, which I mean, I wouldn't mind because the Jaina they gave us is like the legacy of the Force Jaina, so it would go.
Is it the one with her in the pilot uniform, or is she in her like?
No, it's the pilot.
robe.
Yeah, but you can take like the pilot harness off, and it's like the black suit, and I love that.
Oh, nice.
Beautiful figure. She's my
Yeah, that's something I always loved about like really early like classic Star Wars is they had like the characters in like the skin tight black suit that was like it was like looking at like an old like literally looking at old Flash Gordon type stuff.
Oh shit. Okay.
Because Luke and Luke and Leia had a similar one in Splinter of the Mind's Eye.
Yeah. I'm hoping they do Carner Jax one day. It's a simple repaint. You're just printing money at that point.
Well, you'd still have to have a different head.
Well, they don't
No.
take the heads off.
It's supposed to be clones. It's supposed to be the same. I guess one has a scar.
Really?
Kyrkanos has a...
Kyrkanos and Carner Jax are clones?
They're supposed to be.
Oh, okay.
That's what Randy Stradley said, at least.
Oh, that sounds cool. What type of clones are they? Are they Jango Fett clones or like a different variant?
I think they were just special for the Royal Guards. Like, if you read the Crimson Empire 1, they're all supposed to be drawn the same, like with the same eyes. I think there's a couple named, like Burdanid, Alan Frost, or there's a couple that are named, and they're all supposed to be the same template.
Okay, so this is after Palpatine instituted his whole, his whole guard rule, or his whole multiple cloning template rule.
Yeah, and I think it may mention something in the Hand of Thrawn trilogy too, because
Duology, actually. I haven't
yeah,
finished that. My
duology.
dad and I are halfway through. We're like almost halfway through Spectre of the Past.
Yeah, because they find like a Baron Fell clone, and I think one of the other guys, the Gordon Tierce, is supposed to be a clone too. So
People said the Empire relied too much on super weapons. I think they relied a hell of a lot more on cloning.
well, I guess it makes sense if you gotta have 25,000 Star Destroyers or whatever the heck they had, in, like,
And
fleets in every system.
Well, it also kind of explains like how they were managed to drag the conflict out so long. Is that like half of their stuff was like conscripts, and the other half were like well, not conscripts, but like people who joined up, and the other half was clones.
Yeah, and if you read, like you mentioned, Children of the Jedi before, Aya Palpatine was all supposed to be just like people that had their mind wiped, other species and stuff. Just
Yeah, I remember
supposed to,
Gamorreans and stormtrooper armor.
right. So they had a system in place to like just brainwash people to become crew members of these ships and these dreadnoughts and stuff. So
That's not too surprising. And another example I can think of clones, at least, was in the Star Wars Empire comic series. Janik Sunber had a few clones of like a particular template under his command.
yeah.
It was like 3 or 4 dudes that looked exactly the same, but he was like, these men are counting on me to.
Yeah.
lead
Another
them to
thing
the-
is like the Wizards of the Coast card game, which came out right after the prequels, or right after Attack of the Clones came out. They made all of the classic trilogy Stormtroopers clones, even though eventually they changed their mind about that. They were conscripts, but like for a time, that couple of years, like 2003, 2004, they made all the cards for the Stormtroopers in the classic trilogy. They were all designated as clones, which was kind of funny.
I kind of like that half of it was like people who signed up for the Imperial Academy, and the other half was clones. It really branched out the military, and I'm actually a little surprised they didn't like touch on the element of like favoritism, if that makes sense. Some stormtroopers wouldn't look kindly on the clone troopers, because they were clones.
Yeah, they really just changed their mind depending upon what year the story was written. If it was like prequel in mind, or if it was something like Soldier for the Empire, Dark Forces, obviously all those are conscripts. So they changed their mind quite a bit.
Wait, conscript is forced into service. I'm talking about people that willingly join the academy. Like recruits, basically.
Yeah, well, I think people that joined the academy were supposed to be officers, but stormtroopers, I think, were mainly conscripts.
It was weird because Kyle ended up like a stormtrooper.
Well,
officer, like a commander.
He was a cadet leader, so he was meant to be a second lieutenant, but obviously, you have the Marine infantry training in that. So
I can't remember what class was he in. Was he in the same class as like Biggs and Hobby, or was he in like the same class as like Han and Suntir?
I don't believe he was.
No, he was.
He was in his own class.
He was. There was a couple people in this class, like the was it the regional governor? Like his son was supposed to be in his class, but they're not mentioned anywhere else in any other stories.
No, I'm just trying to figure out like within the time frame, when was Kyle recruited into the Imperial Academy on Karita?
Oh, a couple years before the New Hope.
No, I'm talking. Okay, so he was more. So he was probably more like close to classmen with Hobby and Biggs.
I think he's slightly older than Luke, so he would have been probably a year or so older than Biggs, I think.
So he was probably graduating when they were just joining or something. So that makes sense.
Yeah.
That would be an interesting idea for a short story if Kyle actually met like Biggs or Hobby or something like that.
Well, I don't think Biggs or Hobby were on Karita,
I
but
thought they were. I could have sworn they were there because I know there's like two big Imperial academies. There was Karita and then the one on Coruscant, which is the one Han Solo attended.
I don't remember. I know they were on the Rand Ecliptic, but I don't know about Karita.
The Rand Ecliptic, which one is that?
That was the ship that was supposedly Biggs' first assignment, and that's when he jumped ship, or a lot of their crew jumped ship and joined the rebellion.
Yeah, I remember this in Star Wars Empire. He was talking about jumping ship to join the rebellion, only to find out that the ship had been commandeered by Hobby.
Yeah.
And a bunch of other recruits that rebelled and took the Star Destroyer. I'm like, oh, okay. So he doesn't have to jump ship. The rebels are right here.
I think it's in the deleted scene in A New Hope too.
Yeah, I remember he was talking to Luke about, I'm going to jump ship and join the rebellion, and I've got some friends who are going to hook me up with it.
Yeah.
Because I remember in the comic he wasn't really sure about Hobby. He wasn't sure if I think he thought Hobby was a more loyal officer, and then all of a sudden he got the big shock of like, oh, he's leading an uprising here. Well, okay then.
Yeah, there's a couple different versions of that story. I guess the comic is like the one that's considered most canon now, but that story is like in the backstory for the West End Games books. Like the Rand Ecliptic is supposed to be another ship. It's not the ship that's in the comic. So there's been a couple retcons, I guess you could say, to that story.
I need to check out a lot of the old West End games because I know they're available on Joe's site. I just haven't gotten around to reading them yet.
Yeah, because I mean, Biggs was a main story character. Like, obviously, his backstory was going to be used for the game books.
Lance, what are you doing?
That's actually one retcon.
Scrolling through Instagram, causing trouble.
Oh no!
So I'm gonna. Speaking of Instagram, I'm gonna tell you guys something funny that happened to me today on Instagram.
Uh-oh.
I got blocked by someone called Thrawn is a Swiftie.
Oh yes.
Oh my god.
What's the Swiftie?
Taylor Swift fan.
It's the name of a Taylor. It's the brand of Taylor Swift, like the fandom.
This is my first day back on Instagram. So
I was surprised to see you back on Instagram.
Taylor Swift doesn't exist in Star Wars yet.
Well, there's like a whole new Thrawn fandom that revolves around the new books. So. Not for me.
You're gonna make me puke.
No thanks, but it's a thing. Just don't go to Twitter.
Yeah, I don't think I'll ever
watch it. Hive of scum and villainy.
Indeed.
I know. I frequent there.
Yeah. You know, it's not a good place to be.
Maxine and I go to the same cantina.
Yeah, we do. We chill in there. We see all this weird shit posting and their stupidity on Twitter. And it's like, okay. It's not a good place to be.
Well, I kind of like it.
Wretched hives of scum and villainy.
There's some funny shit on there, I will say, but.
Well, I kind of like it because sometimes I can find like a really good meme on there that surprises even my brother. He's like, put that. He has like another group chat on Instagram. He's like, put that in there. But yeah, that's like just like some of the funniest stuff you can find on there sometimes.
Yeah,
that's part of the reason I'm still there is because it's like that shady bar you go to visit for a job.
Yeah. It's exactly why I still use Twitter as well. I'm just like, well, there's funny stuff on there. So
have you I know you don't interact with many. Well, actually, you probably do. I was going to ask if you interact with many current canon fans on there.
Yeah, occasionally when I do get the like not the courage, but like the drive to like actually like comment on something or whatever. Yeah, I interact with a few of them.
Do you know Miriam?
Yes, sounds very
Okay.
familiar.
Okay, good. Miriam Skywalker. Yeah, she's
Yeah.
like probably one of the sweetest people ever. I recently got her into some EU stuff, so.
Ooh, good. Yeah, I've had some people reach out to me on Twitter and be like, "Hey, like I want to read like EU. Like, where should I start?" And I'm like, "Ooh."
Well, I told her the best place to start would be getting the Essential Readers Companion.
Yeah, I usually tell people, I'm like, well, like which era like are you interested in? Like, are you interested in like post Return of the Jedi or like some Old
That's
Republic
also
stuff?
one of my questions.
You know,
Like what? Yeah.
so most
You
people
looking for Old
they
Republic?
usually, yeah, most people are like, oh, well, I want to see like post Return of the Jedi stuff. I'm like, oh, well, you might want to start with Heir to the Empire.
Yeah, no. Post Return of the Jedi, I either recommend starting with either Truce of Bakura or the Thrawn trilogy.
Yeah, I always say the Thrawn trilogy just because that's it's where I started. So
I say Truce of Bakura because again, it's immediately after Return of the Jedi.
yeah,
So.
I mean, it wasn't the first EU book I read, but like diving into the post Return of the Jedi era, that was like where I started.
No, I get that. I think the first
Yeah.
one I read again years ago was like the first Young Jedi Knights.
Nice. Young Jedi Knights is based.
Yeah. What am I thinking of here? Because I was just trying to remember. For like the prequel era, the first one I usually recommend with is the Darth Bane trilogy.
Yeah, I usually recommend that. Like Old Republic, they're like, "Oh yeah, I want to read something like that." I'm like, "Well, Darth Bane trilogy is a very good place to read some good stuff there."
I usually don't recommend Darth Plagueis unless you've read like most of the other prequel era books that take place before the Phantom Menace, like
yeah.
Like obviously like Maul Lockdown,
Yeah.
Cloak of Deception, Darth Maul Shadowhunter. I even recommend some of the comics like Jedi Council Acts of War.
Yeah. Where's this piece?
It's funny. There's actually one comic that's post all that. It's actually in Star Wars Republic that I would recommend is like some research for Darth Plagueis, and it involves Palpatine's friendship with you know who Ron Harkin
Ron
is?
Harkin, yeah.
Yeah. I after mind you, when I read Plagueis, I had all that context. I had all those books down, all the comics, and I'm like, I understand everything that's going on in this book.
Yeah.
It was fun. I'm like, this book is like a treasure trove of expanded universe references.
Yeah, no,
except for how badly it disrespected the Ron Mars Darth Maul comic. That pissed me off. That really pissed me off. That was like the one time in the book that I was like visibly angry at what was going on. I'm like,
how did it disrespect it?
In the other one, Darth Maul, he mentions that like he actually mentions the hand injury he has, and Palpatine just kind of writes it off as like, well, that's your lesson. In Darth Plagueis, he gets really fucking pissed at him over a tiny hand injury. Oof. And even Darth Plagueis, when he's talking to him afterwards, says, "Dude, chill the fuck out. He still did the job." Yeah, he told Palpatine to chill.
I fucking love Darth Plagueis.
I'm mind you, I'm paraphrasing, but he told Palpatine, "Dude, chill the fuck out. We're still safe, okay?"
I love that.
Is that disrespecting though? I think he just tried to add a little extra just to make it.
No, they had to make it fit with Filoni's vision, where Palpatine is like hateful and angry unnecessarily, rather than like smart, cold, and calculating. Which, by the way, after reading Wild Space by Karen Miller, Palpatine is a fucking idiot in that book.
Dude, chill the fuck out.
No, he wanted to kill Obi-Wan and Bail Organa, which again, that was the only good thing about that book. He wanted to kill Obi-Wan and Bail Organa in that book, so he leads them specifically to a treasure trove Sith planet where he keeps a whole bunch of artifacts in an attempt to kill them. And what happens? They get off, they live, and they blow up his treasure trove. He didn't even send Count Dooku in to make sure that they died. No, it's just they'll be fine. They'll find the temple, and then Obi-Wan will die from like the dark side or something. But and then Bail will die from like starvation afterwards. I'm like, you're a fucking idiot, dude.
That's funny.
You need to make sure that they die.
I think post Filoni, the characterization of like Obi-Wan, Anakin, and I guess Palpatine too is all changed up.
It's not just changed up. They actually, you know what? These guys were out of character for the fucking cartoon. That's the weird thing. I'm like, these characters were actually out of character for the cartoon.
Which one, the micro series or the Filoni one?
Okay. Like again, I don't normally be like, you know, oh yeah. No, in the Karen Miller book, they were out of character for like Filoni's version.
Yeah. Let's see. Okay, so this goes on here. Wait. Oops. No, this way.
Well,
wow.
Coming up on an hour. I think.
Oh wow.
Time to end.
I see what you mean. Although it still boggles my mind how Wilkins can like that book, though.
He likes Wild Space?
Yeah, he likes Wild Space. And
wow.
Here's the thing, though, that I will compliment. It does do a very good job of forming Obi-Wan and Bail's friendship. That is the only thing it does good. Everything else is just like, when will this book end? The entire time I'm going, when will this end?
Yeah, because it's always been said that Bail Organa is supposed to be a hero of the Clone Wars, and we never really got a story about that. I guess there was a couple episodes with him in the Filoni cartoon, but we never got why he's a hero of the Clone Wars, really.
It's not just the heroism. It's like, you know, Obi-Wan kind of has a disdain for politicians in general. Yet he seems to get along really well with Padme and Bail Organa. Padme, it makes sense because, you know, he's worked with her on, you know, Naboo and Attack of the Clones. But, you know, how did he form a friendship with Bail Organa, a politician?
Oh, maybe he realized that Bail was one of the good ones.
Yeah, and that's really what this book is trying to establish, and it does that. That's like the one thing this book does really well is like, because you know, Obi-Wan ends up getting this like there's a Sith holocron on there, and like it keeps saying this mantra in Obi-Wan's head over and over again, like die Jedi, and Bail is like carrying
Marcel.
a injured and like out of it Obi-Wan, saying you can't give up, you can't give in, you can't let the Sith win, you know.
The Chad Bail Organa.
What did Marcel say?
He's
thank God.
happy I
Scott
clarified that I
he
don't watch the
doesn't
shows.
Scott
Speaking
is
of
a
which,
true
Marcel,
revanchist.
you got to get in here after we cut the stream. I gotta talk about something concerning Legends Con.
Oh
man, Legends Con moment.
Well, speaking of cut the stream, I should probably do that now.
Cut the cheese.
Because I'm trying to go to bed.
Only 10:14. It's earlier for you.
I want to hear this thing about
Yeah, but I have to get up in the morning. So,
bro.
Everyone have a good night, y'all. Thank you guys very much for joining.
Bye.
Night.
Bye.
Night.